Should you get and build Zuo? Short answer, yes. Long answer, this entire video.
Doctor, I am Zuo Le. The number of proxies aboard Rhodes Island has almost exceeded that of those in Yan. The Sui regulator should have sent someone here long ago. In fact, it has been some time since we sent you an official notice, but it would seem your company may have forgotten to reply.
良材をよく用いればこそ能者は適所にある。この図をらう、持てる限りを尽くしましょ
う。Zuo, a Yanese-born Pythia, who is a candle holder of the Sui regulator, the secret agency handling Yan's Firanmad problem. Following the events at Dahuan, he is currently stationed at Rhodes Island to supervise all the Sui siblings that are stationed here for God knows how long, and sometimes participates in missions for Rhodes Island as a part-time field operator. For someone who is not even in his 20s yet, he is skilled in martial arts and is noted for his academic excellence. And it's not surprising when you know his background. The son of the current human general magistrate, who grew up living as a soldier and later moved to studies at academies in Yan's capital, Baizhou, and eventually becomes a candle holder we know today. Alrighty, after appearing in some events as an NPC, our manho protagonist manages to score enough aura to become playable. And he is our second 6-star Musa guard. Or more accurately, Solo Blade Guard. Yes, the game did change this archetype name recently. Probably the game just want to generalize the name, since Zuo is not related to Higashi. And definitely with this new name, you have a clearer idea of what his archetype is often used for. And that is, surprise surprise, solo lane, or dueling with strong enemies. All of this is possible thanks to his trait, allowing him to heal himself after attacking. But has a big drawback, he cannot be normally healed. Or as people call it, he is an enmity unit. But, contrary to what the official description says, you can still heal him using regeneration healing from other operators. Like what Shu's first talent provided. Other options include Perfumer and Anji's talent, Bards with their trait, and Maria's skill too. Alternatively, since he can gain heal by attacking anything, you can deploy Stainless, and use his S3 turret for Zuo to attack and heal. But still watch out for any elemental damage, since there's a very limited option for enmity units to deal with it. But with that said, taking damage is actually encouraged for Solo Blade, due to their talent benefiting from HP lost. But before talking about his talent, let's see his stats. Because of his trait, Zuo has a very big HP, but doesn't have much defensive stats. However, since he benefits from HP lost, it's acceptable. His attack is also in the high category, but without skills, he will struggle to fight someone with B+ defense. His cost is also pretty high, so oftentimes you won't be able to deploy him immediately. Especially in something like episode 12 stages. Him being a 1-block unit also means you will most likely want another operator behind him to prevent leak. Lastly, he got a pretty swift attack interval. But this can be significantly reduced thanks to his talent. Now let's see his talent. All Solo Blade have a similar first talent, to the point it feels like their trait. And that is obtaining attack speed buff, depending on how much HP they lost. This buff is important for them to improve their DPS and healing. And in Zuo's case, he also gets SP recovery boosts. As for talent 2, he now has a chance to get 1 SP every time he attacks. And the chance is increased when his HP drops below half. With these two talents, I'm sure you can already tell how crazy his SP recovery can be. And combined with his skills that has a relatively cheap cost, makes him able to spam the hell out of it when facing enemies. Then this is his pot upgrade list. Overall a good upgrade, and you might love that cost reduction. But much like everyone else, he's already great even without extra pot. Now this is his module. He got X module, which means he will get Sanctuary when his HP is below 50%, as well as increasing attack and defense. For the upgrade, it will enhance his first talent, giving him more attack speed and SP recovery on each level, and the requirements to reach the maximum buff is reduced to 50% HP. It's an amazing module that improves his survivability when touching critical HP. And the upgrade is also great to make him obtain more buff and gain its maximum amount early. So if you are planning to use Zuo often, definitely don't skip this module and its upgrade, or at least unlock the module first as soon as you can. Despite the overall cost is expensive, it's definitely one of the best module out there, and you're not going to regret investing on it. Now let's talk skills. His first skill is definitely the least favorite. It's an AFK skill that deals critical damage and multiple hits depending on Zuo's current HP. All in all it's decent, but you'll see his other skills are better in dealing more damage and ensuring his survivability. Skill 2 is where things get interesting, and what makes many people think he's the solo blade with the most well thought out abilities. You see, when this is active, he will immediately lose half of his current HP, but gain additional block, now attack multiple enemies equal to block count, obtain attack buff, and a pretty high amount of barrier. Now while the HP loss might seem like a bad thing, but due to his archetype, the HP lost is most of the time considered a good thing. Not to mention, with level 3 module, that means he instantly gets all of his talent 1 buff when at full HP, and don't worry, the barrier should ensure his survivability, including giving Zuo enough time to heal himself by attacking his targets before the skill or the barrier gone. Overall this is a pretty great skill, as the DPS and extra block allows him to handle crowds and tankier targets. But remember that the barrier is not permanent, and some hard hitting enemies can easily shred them. Then defeat him if his own healing can't keep up. Last but not least, his skill 3, his most damaging skill, and is both perfect for dueling and crowd handling. He will instantly slash his multiple enemies up to 3, with bigger damage and stun on the last hit. The damage it deals is enough to shred enemies with high defense. And the stun is particularly important to cancel enemies' attack, or temporarily stop them. At least for the one that can be stunned. And much like his S2, he also gains temporary barrier with this, that should ensure his survival until he can charge up this skill again. Overall it's an amazing skill. The range in particular helps to defeat enemies that are further away. Though sadly you can't hit aerial enemies with this. But still, this is a strong skill, and if you play it right, you can use him to solo a lot of places. Now let's see his mastery priority. Definitely go for S3 first. While the mastery doesn't do anything else, other than increasing his damage and stun by a sec. But I think in general it's his best skill to use. And you should focus on making it stronger. It's somewhat unnecessary, but you might also consider S2. Personally, oftentimes anything that can be done with S2 can also be dealt with S3. But perhaps you might find this DPS skill useful, especially for that extra block. As for his base skill, Zuo can increase mastery training speed of any operator. And he can instantly complete someone's mastery 1 training. But first he needs to accumulate 3 martial arts points. And this point is obtained by completing other people's mastery. Completing someone's M1 training will give him 1. M2 will give him 2, and you guessed it, 3 points from M3. So ladies and gents, should you get and build Zuo? Zuo without a doubt is the best solo blade guard we have right now, able to deal high damage, has a great way to self-sustain, and spammable skills. His inability to be normally healed is definitely his biggest drawback, Though if you play him right, he doesn't really need someone to heal him, more or less the same when fighting elemental damage, and to be fair, element damage is not a common threat. Though with his first 2 cons, he's definitely not too newbie friendly. Especially since his best abilities come after E2. And compared to his fellow 6-star that appeared in his debut banner, I think Shu is a more desirable option to get. But still, Zuo is a worthy operator to consider to get and build. That should be all. Adios.